On May 15, 2025, 17-year-old Pheobe Bishop vanished from Bundaberg, Queensland. She was seen near Airport Drive carrying luggage, supposedly dropped off for a flight to Western Australia, but she never checked in. 2. When Pheobe didn't board her flight, family and authorities grew worried. Social media exploded with missing posters and pleas from her mother, Kylie Johnson, whose heartbreak spread nationwide. 3. Police declared her disappearance suspicious by May 21, sealing off her Jin home and the grey Hyundai 935 she used, both later labeled crime scenes. 4. Community volunteers, cadaver dogs, divers, drones, and SES teams launched a massive search in Goodnight Scrub National Park, southwest of Bundaberg. Days passed with no trace. 5. On June 5, police charged housemates James Wood, 34, and Tanika Bromley, 33, with murder and interfering with a corpse. State investigators alleged Phoebe's body had been moved multiple times. 6. Exactly 1 day later, on June 6, human remains were found in scrubland near the national park. Items of interest were collected, but mobile phone and luggage were still missing. 7. On June 17, police confirmed the remains belonged to Pheobe. Her family finally had the closure they desperately needed. Tributes, candlelight vigils, and tear-stained photographs filled Bundaberg and Jin. 8. Later, a third suspect, Kieran Daniel Middlehuser, 30, was arrested on July 1, charged with being an accessory after the fact, accused of using Phoebe's phone to mislead investigators. 9. Police alleged Tanika and James moved Phoebe's body twice. First near the airport, then deeper into the brush inside the park. Scattered evidence and phone data narrowed the search area. 10. Kieran allegedly lived with Bromley after she split from Wood. Witnesses claimed he used Phoebe's phone and bank card to obstruct the investigation. 11. Investigators also found illegal firearms, replica guns and ammunition in Bromley's car and their Jin property. Public outrage grew as media spotlight intensified. 12. The town of Jin froze. Neighbors spoke of tension, secrets, and confrontations in the days before Pheobe vanished. A local friend revealed arguments among the flatmates days before the tragedy. 13. Pheobe was remembered as artistic and brave. Her mother described her lively spirit and sudden fear in final messages, calling her living situation a hell-hole. 14. A vigil in Bundaberg and Jin saw hundreds wearing bright colors and butterflies, symbols Pheobe loved. Community grief turned into determined pursuit of justice. 15. Detective Inspector Mansfield stated police believed the accused had deliberately moved evidence and tampered with phone data to delay discovery. 16. The grey Hyundai 935 became critical evidence. Phone tower pings, vehicle movements before and after disappearance were mapped to establish the timeline. 17. Pheobe had moments before gone missing sent final texts to her aunt describing her situation as unbearable. These texts intensified public concern as they appeared like a silent cry for help. 18. Despite ongoing searches in thick bushland and water bodies, authorities admitted some items may have been removed before police arrival, complicating the probe. 19. In early July, community grief shifted to trust in justice. Queensland Premier David Crisafulli praised families and highlighted dedication of search teams. 20. A private funeral on June 30 gave one last goodbye, with mourners wearing bright outfits and butterflies, creating a tribute filled with love and loss. 21. The case prompted international attention. Podcasts, crime pages, news outlets picked up the story as a tragic tale of trust turned betrayal. 22. Court hearings scheduled for August 11, Wood and Bromley, and August 25, Middlehuser. Till then, all three remain in custody, with no bail granted. 23. Police continue to appeal for dashcam or camera footage near Airport Drive on May 15 and between Bundaberg highways. Every clue could break the case open. 24. As more forensic tests proceed, Authorities are quietly investigating whether Phoebe was murdered soon after entering the car that morning. Motive still unknown. 25. In the end, Phoebe's disappearance became a young life cut short and an entire community shattered. But through grief, her memory ignited a communal demand for accountability, and a promise that her story will not be forgotten. Police declared Phoebe's disappearance suspicious on May 21, 6 days after she was last seen. Her absence from CCTV at Bundaberg Airport sealed the first clue. She never entered the terminal. 2. Investigators quickly seized her house in Jinjin and the grey Hyundai 935, declaring both crime scenes. Her luggage and phone were missing, deepening the mystery. 3. A 5-day comb through Goodnight Scrub National Park involved drones, divers, cadaver dogs, and SES personnel. Items of interest were collected, leading to early suspicion that evidence may have been relocated even before police arrived. 4. Detective Inspector Mansfield confirmed that Phoebe's body was likely moved more than once, pointing to a calculated effort to mislead investigators. 5. On June 5, Phoebe's housemates, James Wood, 34, and Tanika Bromley, 33, were arrested and charged with murder and interfering with a corpse after allegedly moving her body between locations. 6. James Wood was initially taken into custody a day earlier without charge, while Bromley had unrelated weapons charges from earlier searches that revealed firearms in her car and home. 7. Police alleged a third person, Kieran Middlehuser, 30, romantically linked to Bromley, had used Phoebe's phone and debit card to deceive authorities. He was charged as an accessory after the fact. 8. Investigators reviewed mobile tower data tracing the grey Hyundai's movements across Jinjin and near Airport Drive from May 15 to 18, central to reconstructing a timeline of events. 9. A neighbor near the Jinjin rental recalled seeing Wood sleeping in a bus parked on the property after splitting with Bromley, fueling theories of internal conflict or tension before the disappearance. 10. Investigative files describe tense interactions. Bromley and Middlehuser allegedly began a relationship once Wood moved away, and neighbors heard heated arguments days after Phoebe went missing. 11. Forensic specialists evaluated physical evidence. The car and house were declared contaminated. Police recovered replica firearms and ammunition from Bromley's vehicle, heightening concerns about violence on site. 12. A significant breakthrough came when human remains were located on June 6 near Goodnight Scrub National Park, about 9 kilometers from initial search zones. On June 17, those remains were confirmed as Phoebe's. 13. In their legal statements, investigators detailed how body relocation, phone manipulation, and missing luggage suggested an orchestrated effort by housemates to cover motive and conceal the crime. 14. The case dominated headlines. Bundaberg and Jinjin communities held vigils like the Leave the Lights On for Phoebe campaign, while politicians and families urged justice for the 17-year-old. 15. Court appearances were set for August 11, Wood and Bromley, and August 25, Middlehuser. No bail granted. All three remained in custody amid intense media scrutiny. 16. Local and international media, BBC, CNN, Vice, crime podcasts, focused on a young content creator silenced in mysterious circumstances. Her bright spirit turned into national tragedy. 17. Phoebe's family released a heartbreaking plea through media. Asterisk. I don't know if life will ever be the same. Someone knows something. Please tell us where Phi is resting. Asterisk. Their pain resonated globally. 18. Collectively, witnesses recounted contradictory stories. Wood said they drove her to the airport. Bromley claimed they dropped Phoebe off, but CCTV proved otherwise. This fed public suspicion. 19. The case exposed interpersonal conflicts. Bromley and Wood had separated. Middlehuser moved in, suggesting a web of relationships and secrets under one roof. 20. Queensland's Premier praised the relentless search teams and community solidarity, acknowledging that even though the outcome was tragic, the investigation had evolved with integrity. 21. During court mentions, Bromley and Wood didn't enter pleas. Courtrooms were filled with community and media. Faces blurred. Emotions raw. Everyone demanded answers. 22. As more forensic analysis unfolded, authorities confirmed broken trust and elaborate deception. The trio had allegedly tampered with phone data, relocated remains, and manipulated evidence, raising questions about motive and betrayal. 23. Families wore bright colors at Phoebe's private funeral on June 30th, a celebration of her life and individuality. Community grief transformed into activism and awareness. 24. Her story spurred demands for stronger missing person protocols in rural Australia. Podcasts, crime channels, and social justice platforms repeatedly traced the case's timeline and emotional fallout. 25. In the end, the Phoebe Bishop investigation starkly illustrated how trust can fracture lives, and how justice, though delayed, becomes a collective mission. Her memory lives on through community resolve and international attention. Court proceedings began on August 11th at the Bundaberg Magistrates' Court. The courtroom was packed. Journalists, grieving community members, and supporters of the Bishop family all waited in solemn silence. 2 James Wood, 34, and Tanika Bromley, 33, entered court in handcuffs. Both wore expressionless faces, but behind them sat years of buried conflict, as prosecutors prepared to paint a chilling narrative of betrayal. 3. Both accused were charged with murder, interfering with a corpse, and obstructing police investigation. The gravity of the charges echoed through the courtroom like a thunderclap. 4. Neither of them applied for bail, indicating that the defense strategy might be to delay proceedings and negotiate reduced charges later. The prosecution, however, had already prepared forensic and digital evidence that would be hard to dispute. 5. Meanwhile, Kieran Middlehuser, 30, appeared separately on August 25. His charges were less severe, accessory after the fact and deception, but his role as a helper in covering up Phoebe's death sparked equal outrage. 6. Prosecutors alleged that Middlehuser used Phoebe's debit card and phone after her death to mislead authorities into thinking she had boarded a flight. CCTV disproved that narrative, further cornering the trio. 7. In court, the lead detective described how the body was moved multiple times, a deliberate effort to throw off scent dogs and drones. He said, "It was a cruel game of hide and seek with a teenager's corpse." 8. Phoebe's parents, Heather and Marcus Bishop, sat in the front row, visibly trembling. Heather clutched a small pendant containing Phoebe's hair. Her lips quivered as evidence was read aloud. 9. In her victim impact statement, Heather told the court, "I didn't just lose my daughter. I lost sleep. I lost peace. I lost any sense of safety this world ever gave me." 10. Marcus, usually reserved, stood up and said, "They didn't just bury her body. They buried our trust in humanity." 11. The courtroom was dead silent when the autopsy details were mentioned. While the cause of death remained undisclosed publicly, the prosecution revealed trauma to soft tissues and broken ribs, suggesting a violent end. 12. The defense attempted to introduce the idea that Phoebe may have accidentally overdosed, but prosecutors tore that narrative apart. If it were an accident, why hide the body? Why use her bank card? Why lie to police? 13. The defense attorney for Wood pleaded for psychiatric evaluation, hinting at past trauma, joblessness, and medication. But the court was unmoved, as motive pointed more toward jealousy and personal vendetta. 14. As hearings continued, the media frenzy intensified. Every newspaper from Brisbane to London ran headlines like, "Teen influencer silenced by inner circle," or "Murder in the House of Friends." 15. Phoebe's YouTube fans began mailing handwritten letters to the family and left hundreds of comments online. A few were read aloud in court, showing how deeply her story had touched people across continents. 16. Court documents revealed conflicting statements among the accused. Wood blamed Bromley, Bromley blamed Wood, and Middlehuser said he was manipulated. This confusion hinted at a toxic alliance of guilt. 17. Prosecutors argued that Bromley had a personal vendetta against Phoebe, suspecting her of exposing financial fraud or private secrets. A family friend told media, "There was tension. Phoebe knew too much." 18. The judge adjourned the trial, setting a new date for full criminal proceedings in early 2026. The case would now go to Queensland Supreme Court due to its complexity and media attention. 19. Outside the court, Heather Bishop faced the cameras and said, "They hid her. But now the truth is being unburied. And we will not stop until there is justice." 20. Marcus added, "My daughter was smart. She was funny. She was going to change the world. And these people thought they could erase her. But we'll make sure her name lives forever." 21. Activists began gathering signatures for Phoebe's Law, a proposed legislative act to improve handling of missing person cases in rural regions of Australia. 22. At Phoebe's high school in Bundaberg, her classmates installed a permanent mural in her memory. Underneath her photo in bold letters, "Truth will outlive evil." 23. Mental health organizations began offering free grief counseling in her name, and awareness seminars were held across Queensland to educate young people on domestic manipulation and toxic cohabitation. 24. Netflix and multiple crime podcast networks approached the Bishop family for rights to her story, but they declined. Heather said, "This is not a show. This was my daughter's life. She's not entertainment." 25. As the court prepares for its next phase, one truth remains constant. The community won't let her memory fade. Justice for Phoebe isn't just a legal outcome anymore. It's become a movement, a promise, and a legacy.